What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim back with another video here to talk to you guys today about subscribing to the channel and also my game of the year. I used to do an annual podcast with my true love, my best friend in the entire planet, Mr. Brent Cassina, who is the host of his own YouTube channel, BK's Bullets, which I'll post a link to in the description below. If you like comic books, like those two sitting over there, you probably like what this guy has to say. Anyways, we used to do a podcast together talking about video games, and then it turned into an annual podcast turning about video games, and then it went kaput. But in the tradition of me being a YouTuber and continuing to push the envelope in entertainment excellence, I've decided today to give you guys my list by myself. Now, the only criteria for my game of the year has to be it's a game that had to have come out this year. That's it. It's easy for me to talk about my previous games of the year or games that I still love and play a ton of, like Heroes of the Storm, a game that I play still incredibly frequently, which has since gone into maintenance mode and has died essentially. We will never receive updates for it again. It's still a game that I play. It's still a game that I love. And then you have your comfort food games like Super Double Dragon or Tetris 99, things that I'll just sit down and play one more round, which ends up turning into multiple hours of gaming. But that's not what this is. This is my game of the year, and there's two that I have. And they're probably pretty easy to guess, considering they are things that I talked about extensively and things that I love. The first, of course, is Elden Ring, which was actually the game of the year per Jeff Keighley's The Video Game Awards, which aired about a week ago now. At the time of this recording, at least. I'll probably not upload this for another week or so. But it was considered the best game of the year, and rightfully so. It really changed so much. And considering that it ran not very well, the fact that everybody still put in those long hours, I was over 180 hours myself. I'm sorry, 130 hours myself, 138 hours. Considering I spent so long playing the game, despite that it did not run as well as it probably should have, tells you everything you need to know about the magnificence and the beauty and the inspiration and the music and the feels you get while playing this game. In true From Software format, there were definitely a lot of things that I think went over most of our heads. We had to go back and watch other much better YouTube channels than mine explain all the details of the lore and the rationale and the reason. But considering this game had the creative backing of George R.R. Martin, I think they did a phenomenal job of telling a very twisted, dark, perverse tale of characters rising and falling and competing for the Elden Ring in so many different little vignettes across bits and pieces of item descriptions and lore and story bits that at the end, when you truly do understand everything that happens, it's very, very impressive. If that's not your jam, the gameplay itself was nothing short of amazing. And it's interesting because I wouldn't say it was overly revolutionary. It didn't do anything that other games hadn't done before. It just did them so much better. It had that very punishing From Software combat, but it added in a vibrant, massive open world with tons of optional content to explore, caves and treasures to be found hidden by defeating difficult baddies tucked away in different parts of the world. There were optional major areas that were the more traditional legacy dungeons that you would expect from previous From title software, but they had those, they had the smaller versions, they had these sort of world events. It was really just like the best of everything that From Software could put wrapped up in a package and sent to you. Unfortunately, it did suffer from some definite issues with frame pacing specifically, where you got this really nasty screen tearing. And despite the fact that I am now a proud owner of a 120 hertz television, and despite the fact that I love gaming at variable refresh rate, toggled on, Elden Ring does not support it. So you're not going to get any love there, at least on the PlayStation 5. But despite all of that, despite the technical limitations that this game had, absolute masterclass of a game. I'm so excited for whatever DLC this game holds in the future, and I'm so proud of that team for getting the recognition that I think they deserve. The second game is, of course, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. This game absolutely blew me away, and you could really cut this onion in so many different perspectives. Now, I will be upfront and honest. I was not happy that all of the items that I had paid for and unlocked in Modern Warfare 1 did not carry over. So all of the character skins that I bought, like the 80s Park, which I loved, or John Rambo, or all of the cool tracer packs with the purple and the greens and the blues that had really vibrant tracer rounds during my kills, all gone. I'm not happy about that. And I don't think that was a smart decision for them to get rid of those things. I understand why they did, but I don't appreciate them doing that, because I think they had a real opportunity here to cement an even greater game legacy. I always compare the Modern Warfare universe to the Avengers cinematic universe, at least during the earlier phases when it mattered a little bit more, and how you saw all of these titles with Modern Warfare and Call of Duty Cold War and Vanguard, which sucked, all feeding into the machine to build a complete package of this like Call of Duty empire, where every gun rolled into the experience, and all the characters and all the attachments all rolled into something with the cosmetics and all these cool things. And they dumped that. Maybe because they had a bad taste of Vanguard in their mouth, or maybe because it just got too bloated and they felt that it was time to just pull the plug and do a hard reset. But despite that, everything about this game is amazing. The single player campaign is phenomenal considering it's a first-person shooter. I'm definitely putting that caveat out there. I would just say this does not win any Game of the Year awards in terms of storytelling or anything like that. But what I will say is this game does a very, very, very good job of making you care about the characters that you meet, especially with the difficult task of it being a game that had to live up to the legacy of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare game that came out like 20 years ago or 15, whatever it was, a long, long time ago, right? You had to live up to that legacy to, you know what's going to happen, but you don't know what's going to happen. And they kind of did the route of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I really appreciated, where they gave old characters new life and they changed some things to make it a more unique story. It wasn't just a beat for beat retelling of the old game, and I really appreciated that. So the story was phenomenal, but the technical aspect of it, the actual multiplayer experience, the DMZ experience, the Warzone experience, all world class. So much fun to play. I have really fallen in love with DMZ. I'll be doing a video about that at some point, talking a little bit more about some of the lessons I've learned in that game. But it's that kind of escape from Tarkov light experience that we really wanted in a small, more PvE world with a small flavor of PvP thrown in there, where you're looting and shooting and uncovering kind of these treasures, so to speak, of this world to get more experience and to go back in with more missions and more to do. It really seems to lend itself well into the upcoming raid, which is going to be coming out during the Reloaded season, the midpoint of Call of Duty Season 1, the Reloaded stuff. So there's going to be a lot of really good stuff that's coming out from that game. And if they are true, and they are going to be sticking to a 2-year plan instead of what they've been doing with these annual releases, it's going to give this time... it's going to give this game and the studio even more time to flesh out more meaningful experiences and more fun to be had. And I still play Modern Warfare every day. I think I'm over 100 hours on it now, which it's barely come. I mean, it's been out like a month, just to tell you how addicted I am to this game. I play it on my computer. I absolutely adore it. Now that I got my PlayStation and my Xbox Series X plugged into the 120 hertz TV upstairs, I go up there at night and I play it in HDR because it looks even more beautiful. Although I'm only playing the free version, I didn't pay for it yet. I'll probably get it twice like I did last time because I really want to play it on the PS5, especially when that Pro Controller comes out early next year. Oh, I cannot wait to get my hands on that. The game looks so beautiful at 120 frames a second. Well, as close as they could get. But those are my 2 picks for Game of the Year. I thought I'd do a fun little video to kind of wrap up my thoughts on the game year by just saying that it was not the best year, but there were definitely some gems sprinkled about in there. I have a feeling 2023 is going to be even more wild with some major titles coming down the pipe. We'll talk about those and those collector editions when they become more readily available, but that will wrap up today's video. Sorry I couldn't do this with you, Brent. I love you wherever you are, but I will carry the torch on my own. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.